Good evening, Fort Collins. I'm Jackie Wilson, and you've just tuned in to CTV Talks, a show where we get to talk and learn about special guests in the Fort Collins community. With Halloween just a week away, we're feeling the fear here at CTV. So we've asked some ghoulish guests to join us on tonight's show. How well do you think you know Fort Collins? Well, our first guest, Lory Juszak, has an abundance of knowledge when it comes to all things FOCO, and she's here to share some of that knowledge with us. Thank you so much for joining us, Lory.
Well, thank you, Jackie. I appreciate it. It's really great to be here.
Oh, and it's so great to have you. So will you first tell us a little bit, what exactly are these tours about?
These tours are about going around Old Town and underneath Old Town to see some of the historical sites and hear about the ghost stories and the murder and mayhem that preceded them in the Old Town area.
And you say take us under Fort Collins. What does that mean?
Well, there are several places underground in Fort Collins where we can go see the old jail that was from the 1880s, the old jail morgue from the 1880s, and there is even a tunnel that goes underneath Fort Collins. Did you know there was a tunnel system underneath Fort Collins? And many of the tunnels have been bricked over, but there is still one that we can go into.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Can you tell us about a time maybe where you yourself were even spooked? I mean, doing these tours for a while.
So many times. When we first started doing the tours, we thought it would be big fun. You know, we go underground, we would start telling the stories, and after a little while, you know, we started having things happen, and 2 months in, I said, I am scared. I don't want to do this anymore, because people were getting touched. We were getting pictures of apparitions. We got an EVP. For anybody who doesn't know, an EVP is an electronic voice phenomenon where you take a recording, everybody on the tour remains completely silent, and when you play it back, if you get a voice, the theory is it might be from the other side. And so we got an EVP in one of the areas, and that completely freaked us all out.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure.
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about maybe where some of these places are that are haunted?
Yes. The underground morgue is underneath Salis Bath and Body. Salis Bath and Body is a wonderful bath and body store on Walnut in Old Town. And underneath is the old jail morgue, and I always joke that it's the best smelling morgue in Colorado.
Thank you, Salis.
Yes, and underneath Happy Lucky Tea Shop is the old historic jail. And that's kind of an interesting place because we get to go into the old solitary confinement cell underneath there and let people know what it would have been like way back in the 1880s to be shut into a solitary confinement cell with 2-foot thick stone walls and no light for extended periods of time. It's very scary.
Definitely.
We also go into the old Armadillo Garage, which is extremely haunted. We've had a lot of things happen in there. And that has just, the history of that is absolutely cursed. There has been at least one murder, at least 4 suicides in the last 130 years, and one other really creepy incident that we talk about on the tours.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
And I know this isn't just a haunted Halloween kind of thing, right? You do these all year round.
We do these year round, Friday and Saturday nights at 7:30. We also have a late night ghost walk at 9:15. We have a horse and buggy ghost tour at 9:15 on Friday nights year round. We also have history tours, horse and buggy history tours on Sundays at 2 starting in April. And we have gourmet tours that go from May to October. So a number of tours.
Very interesting. So you can kind of jump in whenever.
Oh, yeah. And just look at our website, www.fortcollinstours.com, and it'll show you all the different tours.
Wonderful. And what's the best tour to take during Halloween?
I think the 7:30 signature ghost tour is probably the best, followed, and is maybe neck and neck with the horse and buggy ghost tour, which I really enjoy. We've partnered up with Colorado Carriage and Wagon, and they are the most wonderful people to work with, and we have a really good time partnering up and having the horse and buggy take people around to different sites, getting off the horse and buggy, going underneath the city, but it gives us a little more leeway to go to some of the other sites around outside of Fort Collins.
That's so cool. And what do you think of all these different tours that you offer is the scariest one?
The scariest one is whenever something actually happens, and that happens on about 30% of our tours. I kid you not, when somebody gets a picture of an apparition or a really unusual orb, or we get an EVP, or somebody gets touched. We have a couple sites where we have, I don't know what's in there, ghosts, whatever, but we have touchers.
Oh my gosh.
And so somebody gets touched. So I don't think there's one particular site. I would say Armadillo Garage, There is a site where we go in through underneath Walrus that goes through a tunnel and into a bunker. That's a pretty active spot, and of course the morgue.
Yeah, of course, I would assume. And can you tell us about a particular ghost on the tour? Is there anybody that hangs around?
Yes, my favorite. And we almost feel like we have a relationship with this guy. I know that sounds crazy, but we've seen him twice. He's about 6'4", 6'5". He is somebody who speaks French and English. We found this out from the EVP because it took us 3 months to figure out what the EVP said. And then a CSU French teacher was on the tour and said, I know why you can't understand what he's saying. It's because it's in French.
Oh my
which we
gosh.
found really interesting. And he is definitely a toucher. And we have decades of people, years and years, saying that they've gone underneath to this one area and they've been touched by something. And even hair being pulled up like this. So
oh my goodness.
It's really kind of scary.
That's the thing. You're saying people have been touched, and that's just nuts. I mean, it seems like a bunch of fun stuff.
It is.
Well, thank you so much for all this eerie insight. For more information about finding out the truth about the haunts in our city, visit FortCollinsTours.com and sign up for a haunted tour any time of the year.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are the #1 killer of children 1 through 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Good evening, Rams. We saw some great weather today, getting up to the low 60s, and I actually saw some people getting the last use out of their shorts and flip-flops today. It's going to be in the low 30s tonight in Fort Collins, and for the rest of the week, it's looking like we'll still get to enjoy some warm weather because it's going to be in the high 60s this week and through the whole weekend. So I don't know what you guys are doing, but I'll be spending that time outside. Going into next week, there's some potential rain on Monday with temperatures in the high 40s, low 50s, so make sure to be looking out for that. In case any of you forgot, Halloween is coming up, and just so you guys can plan your costumes, it looks like it's going to be in the low 50s during the day and in the low 30s during the night. So make sure to plan your costume accordingly, or at least bring a jacket. There's also going to be a waning crescent moon for any of you superstitious people. In Denver, temperatures are a little warmer. It's going to stay in the low 60s up through next week, but in Halloween, it'll also be in the high 30s in Denver. So if you're planning on doing the bar crawls there, please still be prepared. News broadcasters are saying that through October, going into November, we should be seeing some warmer trends than we're used to, especially in southern Colorado. Up north here in Fort Collins, there are variable temperatures, and they're not sure exactly how it's going to pan out, but they are predicting that much of the cold air is going to stay locked up in Canada. So we'll have to see how the rest of the winter turns out. Thank you for watching the weather this week. Back to you, Jackie.
It's been 2 years since the harsh winter storm that caused tree branches to crack down on CSU students, and the university is taking measures to prevent this from happening again. Lena Howland has the story.
We show up around 5 a.m.
Hours prior to potential snowstorms, Air Force ROTC students like Luke Webb are called in for snow patrol.
We get shovels, buckets of salt. We just go to different entrances of all the buildings and just shovel away, throw some salt down.
They're trying to prevent situations like this. You're taking a look at video from a winter storm that swept across campus in 2011. Luke, who was a sophomore at the time, remembers that cold October day as if it happened yesterday.
It was crazy, like the last day looks like that, and then next morning it's all just covered in snow, destroyed.
That storm took the campus by surprise. From that point forward, CSU's facilities management team has been gearing up for another major disaster.
This year I think we have 3 new tool cats with brooms on them, and then we had to order a new sander.
Unkept trees pose a hazard for students. As heavy snow builds up on branches, the weight could cause them to collapse. Over the next few weeks, crews will be out in full force trimming them.
We prune the trees for obvious structural deficits, and then we keep our eye to the weather reports.
Preparing for a storm is a team effort, which is why Fred is happy to have an extra set of helping hands on the ground.
I think whenever there's student involvement, it is a real positive thing.
If it happens, we'll clean it up, we'll just take the punches as they come.
After all, it's not a matter of if, but when another disaster will strike. And when that day comes, these students are confident they'll be ready.
They say that when you're facing extreme danger, your life flashes before you. If you think that's sad, consider facing it before you even have enough life to flash before your eyes. Deaths and injuries can be prevented by using the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to know what is appropriate for each age and size.
Well, the Halloween spirit is coming to life in all aspects of CSU's student media. Next week, CTV is hosting a special Halloween event on the Montfort Quad. Station manager Katie Spencer is here to give us some insight on this ghostly debacle. So, Katie, can you tell us a little bit about what's happening on Thursday?
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this. We're having our third annual Halloween live show. So, as you said, it's going to be on the Montfort Quad. Typically, it's been on the plaza, but because of construction and everything, we're doing it on the quad this year, which I'm really excited about because there's going to be leaves falling and it's going to be really beautiful. So we'll have anchors out there, we'll have Halloween stories, and we'll have a few Halloween little food segments and stuff, and just different fun segments.
Great. And you said it's in the Montfort Quad. For those of us who don't know, where is the Montfort Quad?
Yeah, so it's underneath Clark B, kind of behind it. It's where the Animal Sciences building used to be. That's under construction right now. A lot of campus is under construction, so it was a little hard finding a place to do it, but I'm really excited. I think it's going to be really great.
Great. And what kind of segments can we expect to see on the show?
Yeah, so we're going to have a few different ones. I know we're going to have a pumpkin patch one. I know we're going to have possibly a haunted kind of GoPro going through a haunted maze or going through a haunted corn maze. Just a bunch of different fun segments like that. Our anchors are going to be dressed up in Halloween costumes. We're all going to be out there having a great bunch of fun. So it's going to be a really great time.
What are you planning to be for Halloween?
For Halloween this weekend, I'm going to be Carrie from Stephen King, all the blood and gross.
Pig blood.
Pig blood. Well, paint. And then on our Halloween show, I am going to wear a toga. So there you go.
You Greco-Roman, you.
Yeah. Beautiful. And we're also having, on Friday's show, on the Not That Late show, Christian was at the Zombie Crawl this past weekend, and he has a special Halloween segment on there, too. So we're just gearing up and getting ready, and we're all really excited for it.
That's so exciting. I can't wait. Well, thank you so much for joining us and telling us a little bit about that, Katie. Keep joining us at CTV. The rest of the week we'll have plenty of Halloween stories for you. Stay tuned. Well, after tonight, I think all of us here at CTV Talks can say we're ready for Halloween. Tonight, we've heard from one of the spookiest Halloween tour representatives in all of Fort Collins and learned about how the lovely fall weather is quickly turning into a winter chill. Tune in next week to get an exclusive look at some mysterious Halloween happenings on campus and for some more spooky fun. Until next time, I'm Jackie Wilson, and this has been CTV Talks.